Tonight, we're not looking back on something that happened here on Earth. We're looking up, way up, at something that came from out there. It is called 3I Atlas, the third confirmed interstellar object ever detected passing through our solar system. Discovered on July 1st, 2025, by the Atlas Survey in Chile, 3I Atlas is moving too fast, too far off course, and far too alien to have ever belonged to our sun. Astronomers say it's just a comet, a ball of ice and rock from a distant star system. But the evidence is anything but ordinary. The James Webb Telescope detected chemical fingerprints unlike anything we've seen before. A comma rich in carbon dioxide, color shifting in unpredictable patterns, and an energy signature that doesn't quite line up with what we expect from natural objects. Some even claim it's changing color as it travels. Could it be artificial, a probe, a fragment, or even a signal from elsewhere? Over the next hour, we'll explore the science, the speculation, and yes, the conspiracy surrounding 3I Atlas. We'll hear from astronomers who say it's rewriting the rules of planetary formation, and theorists who believe it might not be a comet at all, but a technological artifact from beyond our solar system. Because every time something from another star passes through our cosmic backyard, we're reminded just how little we know and how much we might not be ready to find out.
Welcome to the Retrospect podcast, a show where people come together from different walks of life and discuss a topic from their generation's perspective. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by Stoney.
Hello.
And Jason.
Hello, everyone.
Well, thank you very much for your intro, taking away my explanation of what 3I means, but thank you.
Well, I think it's a little bit more than what I said in my
No,
my
that's
intro.
exactly what it is. Most people were thinking that it was 3
L. I thought it was
3-1.
3-1, yeah.
3-1 Atlas,
Yeah.
and it's 3I because it's actually the third confirmed interstellar entity coming into our solar system.
Y'all remember the first one they discovered?
I don't.
It was Amora in 2017, and then Borisov in 2019.
It's pronounced, it's a Hawaiian word. It's called Oumuha.
Okay.
That's
I only got one O in my
that's
thing.
the
Oumuha.
Oumuha. It's
And that was one I, Omura.
Yeah.
And then Boris,
that was the second one.
it's 2I, Boris. I mean, that was in 19.
Interesting.
And what was I found interesting, they're saying the signal that they've been picked up from this thing, they say it actually may be the same object that they picked up in 2017.
I don't think so, because I got it written down here. It's a hyperbolic trajectory, which first off means it's not bound to the sun. It's cruising, and that's why a lot, the stuff you said there, it's a new form of anything that we know. It's not from the solar system.
Yeah.
It's not bound to our sun. Most comets and asteroids are flying around our sun with some gravity-based trajectory,
Right.
swinging around, and that's got a whole nother name to it. But this one means that it's not bound to our sun. So once it leaves, it's not coming back.
Yeah, just for our listeners, ATLAS stands for the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System. So this is the system that's basically protecting the planet for some rogue asteroid or comet.
And oddly enough, it's in Chile.
Yeah.
We don't want to get hit.
Of
where
course.
we don't. We've touched on. I think we did another episode on. I think it was at Apophis. That's the kind of that's the big rock that's out there. They say there's potential impact with Earth. I think if it penetrates the gravitational keyhole. I think in 2029. If it goes through there, then in 2036, I think is saying there's a potential for their chance for impact.
Scary.
So, which that will be a bad day
Yes.
for wherever it hits. We've never experienced that in
No.
in
Millions of years, probably.
Well, I don't know. Some people say we had a series of impacts about 13,000 years ago, but.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean the big impact, the 60 million year, the Chicxulub impact, that's the one everybody talks about. And believe it or not, kind of getting off topical, but even then, there were scientists when that was first proposed that they kind of laughed at them like, there's no evidence, and then eventually the evidence started piling up, and lo and behold, But yeah, this I never really. As I said, when I remember talking to Stoney about this topic, I was like 3-1 Atlas. I didn't even. It's like I just kind of been seeing some of this stuff on the periphery, and I haven't really paid that much attention to it. But I'm always interested in interstellar stuff and planets, and I've always found that kind of fascinating. So this is actually pretty interesting stuff.
Closest date is December the 19th, 2025, that it will get to the Earth, but it will still be on the far side of the sun.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay. You see what I'm saying? And that's supposed to be, 270 million kilometers, or roughly 168 million miles from the Earth.
Is that the closest out of the three, or is that just...
No, I didn't check that.
That's interesting.
I think it's traveling about 60 kilometers a second.
Oh, God.
It's traveling at an enormous speed. I mean,
and has supposedly changed speed a couple
yeah,
of, supposedly.
It's done some weird things people are, the people that are in the know, the astrophysicists and the people who follow this stuff, it's definitely doing some things that it's very unpredictable right now.
Just a little rough translation: 60 kilometers per second is 134,260 miles per hour.
Just for reference, it's about half the size of the Chicxulub impact object.
Right.
Yeah, I think
so. It's still Earth,
quote unquote, small compared to that, but
it's still
big. Yeah, I think they measured Chicxulub about 6 miles across.
Damn.
I mean, think about it. But I mean, they're saying this thing is maybe about the size of Manhattan. But I mean, just think of an object that big moving at that speed.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just the kinetic energy. It's we can't even really fathom what that means.
And think about where it hits.
Yeah,
is as important as anything.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Even if it hits the water.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
just the steam, just that energy is unbelievable.
It would be I mean, you're talking about tsunamis, hundreds of feet high. I can't imagine a wall of water the size of like the Empire State Building. I mean, it's just you see that in movies. To see that in real life would be quite extraordinary. But I found something else that was pretty interesting here. But this thing is emitting some pulses, and they actually transcoded these pulses into binary.
They also had another group that thought it was some basic Morse code type thing. I'm like, what? Wait, really?
They say they loaded it in. They transcoded it in the binary and he loaded it in the Chat GPT.
Oh gosh.
Well, it was a more advanced version, but yes, I saw that.
They said it translated "We come peace."
No.
I'm just telling you what's
But it
going
also
on.
said that we put you here and we're coming to elevate you.
Yeah, I've seen a couple things on this stuff when but just that word, kind of going back that Oumuha, whatever how it gets pronounced. It's basically meaning it's a Hawaiian word meaning scout or messenger from afar, arriving first.
Interesting.
So just to kind of everybody give an idea what's going on with that. But what's been interesting is this. I have been kind of following this astrophysicist. He sits in the chair in Harvard at Loeb. was his name is, and he is the one who's basically sounded the alarm that this thing could be artificial, based on the characteristics that when they look at these objects. And it's kind of raised a lot of eyebrows because this is not some just quack that's in the basement somewhere, peddling conspiracy. This is a guy that sat on the National Academy of Sciences.
I still don't have faith in all that. I still don't have faith in it. He has indicated that it could be the makings of a black swan event. I mean, we don't really know, but I just find it interesting that someone of that caliber, would actually be one of the first people to broach that this is not acting like a normal comet or an asteroid, or what it's exhibiting characteristics that are completely unknown. Now, not to say that there's nothing special. I mean, or I should say that there's anything weird. Maybe there's some things we don't understand, which I'm kind of in that camp a lot. I think that, we're dealing with an object from outside of the Milky Way galaxy, or at least, or it should say outside of our solar system. Now, whether that means it's outside the Milky Way, I don't know. Right. But it definitely, it's kind of its own. I equate it to, for our listeners out there that are familiar with, Marvel comics and stuff. Yeah. He's kind of like the Silver Surfer of the universe. I used ChatGPT when I found that group of people that used it. I said, using the information that has come out, this signal that has come, and all of the little things, the little ships supposedly looking like they're flying off that could be debris or whatever. What are the chances that 3I Atlas are not just a rock or an asteroid? What are the chances that this is something extraterrestrial? And what ChatGPT told me was, when I found the signals and translated it myself, my daddy is coming home.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This is my daddy is coming home. Okay, that's ChatGPT saying, okay, think about really, I don't trust anything ChatGPT says, but my daddy is coming home. And then, I said, okay, I know you're just fracking with me right now. What are the actual chances that this is extraterrestrial? And it said about effectively near zero, but about 1 in 100 million chance that this is not an asteroid or rock. This is something extraterrestrial,
something artificial,
something
along those lines. That's what I'm saying. It's definitely doing some things that are quite unusual, and who knows what this thing is made of. There's always a possibility if it's made up of some exotic materials that might react differently than what we're aware of. And, I'm open to that possibility that, we don't know what's outside of our own solar system as much as we make projections and we think we do. But, I'm kind of, I think we're more ignorant than what I think sometimes people want to want to say we are. But I don't. I mean, this is definitely something to pay attention to. If it does continue to act weird, and it's got like all these anomalies, and now it's at a point now where the anomalies are either forcing these scientists to say, okay, we've got something different here, or the models that we're using right now, we're missing something in the model.
I was fixing to go right there. Most of the models that they use expect it to be some type of metal or mineral oriented object, and this one is not. This is a CO2 H2O rich snowball, basically, that's been sandblasted by the galaxy, And, which is more interesting than a rock, right?
Yeah.
But we also haven't seen that before, so we don't know how it's going to react to things in our solar system. It's never come into our solar system to swing by the sun or these different type gravitational effects that are in the Milky Way, so to speak. So we don't know. So we're just kind of guessing. But these model, when you have a hurricane model, you base that off of 100 other storms.
Right.
And so you can say, well, if this
Frame of
high
reference,
is here and this is here, you can make those models work. Well, these models don't know what to work because most of the other meteors and asteroids have been made out of metal or some CO2 on it, but mostly made out of metal. So now it's just like, okay, it's CO2 and H2O. What's it doing? It's a snowball.
Right.
Well, right now it can be found in the constellation Virgo.
You can see it with a telescope.
Yeah, you can
really?
get,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
You can the constellation Virgo, close to the eastern horizon in the hours before dawn, in early November, with Venus shining brightly beneath. And it's currently racing headlong away from the sun on an escape trajectory from our solar system.
Wow. That's so crazy that you
So
can see
for
with a
people
telescope.
that are kind of into looking at the sky and all that, it's there it is. So it's get out there with your telescope and
Yeah, right, and see
and
what you
take a
can
look
find.
at it. I'd love to go to the an observatory and
Yes, that
really
would be
see.
fun, wouldn't it? Did they still do that one in Baton Rouge? That Highland
Yeah,
Observatory?
I believe they still. I mean, I went there. It's been several years since I've been to that one. The last time I went, the big telescope I think was not working, but they had some people out there with, some nice telescopes, and I got to see Saturn with
that's
with the
cool.
rings. It was
Neat.
yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's
It
awesome.
really was. So I mean, people in the Baton Rouge area, I would check out the Highland Road Observatory.
I mean, it's a once in a lifetime thing.
Oh,
if you think
definitely.
about it. I think though, for me, as fast as it's moving, wouldn't it be great if it just kind of stopped and Paul got out? You remember the movie Paul with the donut around his finger?
Yeah.
I want to take a humor look at it because
Okay.
No, I don't. I just
Yeah,
mean
I know,
in
yeah.
jesting. I don't have anything prepared,
Right.
But that just popped into my head.
Right.
It's just kind of like, wow, when you think about this, this is very unique.
Yeah.
It's a once in a lifetime thing that something's going to come that close from outside that will never come back. And it's freaking a lot of people out. A lot of the chatter.
I can imagine.
This is insane. I tried to research how many articles, scientific reports, anything is out there. And they said that this is actually one of the most talked about events in our
It's
history.
generating a lot of
It's so much that it can't even be estimated. When you look at how many TikTok videos, how many articles, NASA, colleges, everybody's putting so many of these things out there, it really can't even predict how much is out there being talked about with this thing.
Yeah, I'm looking at said according to a report from Avi Loeb, and here's that professor I was telling you about. He's a Baird Professor of Science and Institute Director at Harvard University. He said the non-gravitational acceleration was first indicated by NASA in a recent report and indicated that expected outgassing from the comet would mean it would lose half its mass and show a massive debris plume in the coming months, which is when people think of comet, that's what they think. They go, Halley's Comet, that big old long tail, which is typical of what happens when a comet gets near a star. The heat starts burning, and then it starts gassing out that stuff. This is not doing that. That's what's so weird about this.
And they're saying it's close enough that it
should be.
I see. Okay.
Right. He says the problem is Earth-based telescopes can't get a good look right now, so it should be coming out sometime in early December. that will allow for really good viewing of ground-based observation. So right now, most of the photos are coming from Hubble and from the James Webb, which are incredible. If you ever get a chance to look at just some of the photos of our universe, it's just incredible. He said, alternatively, the non-gravitational acceleration might be the technological signature of an internal engine.
Interesting.
Yeah, Loeb wrote in a report.
Just the way it's not a rock.
Yeah.
It's a snowball. Snowballs are erratic when you throw them, just because they're different. So I don't know. I want to believe this is something else, but I when you look at all the videos and stuff that people are putting out there, I really hope it's just simple.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll know. And
maybe that's what they want you to think, Stoney.
See? No, I agree. See, you're right.
Well,
you're right, 100%.
I'm reading this Fox report here. It said, in a response to a question about 3i Atlas from Kim Kardashian, we all know who that is. NASA acting administrator Sean Duffy said there isn't anything to worry about. NASA observations showed that this is the third interstellar comet to pass through our solar system, he said in a post on X. No aliens, no threat to life here on Earth.
Okay.
It said in his report, Loeb said the massive evaporation of 3i Atlas could explain its intense blue light, citing a recent paper. For a natural comet, this blue light is very surprising, he wrote, saying that dust would result in having a redder color than the sun. So that's what I'm saying. They said the blue color could potentially be explained by a hot engine or a source of artificial light, Loeb continued. However, it might instead be a signature of ionized carbon monoxide for a natural comet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's really, that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. So this is real. Real stuff. I mean, it's just like the same kind of stuff we talk about with like the ocean. There's like so much in there we just don't know about because it's just you can't really tell how much of that is also going on here, where it's like we don't even know if this is coming from outside of our solar system. Who knows if it's like breaking conventional norms for what we know?
Right.
We just don't know because it's like it's unknown. So it's like, oh, it should work this way, but it's like,
that's the same thing with the colors.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
A normal meteor should be doing this, but it's not. It's not.
So it's like, why? What material is in it? It's just unless we're able to get our hands on it and figure it out. I don't think we'll probably have a definite answer, unless there's technology that is obviously far beyond my comprehension that could tell us. But
obviously what this particular scientist is saying is obviously it's provoked a lot of people because this guy's legit. He's very well published. He's very well known in that realm, and so people are kind of raising eyebrows. And in his reply, he says, "I explained that in science we're often intrigued by anomalies that are inconsistent with past paradigms.
Right.
As a result, we bring forward possible theoretical interpretations which motivate the collection of new data." So, I think, I know we people want to jump. Okay,
yes.
But that's not necessarily what he's saying. I think he's simply saying these are some possibilities. Go out, let's study this more.
Right.
And I think that's what he's saying. And I think some people have kind of jumped. Are you saying it's an alien? And I think that's where.
Well, what he's doing is basically the opposite of what the scientists were doing during COVID. What's he saying? Question the science. That's what science is. Question the science. What about the Fibonacci sequence pulse that came out at 1420 hertz?
Okay.
I think that's interesting because
it's a communication.
That's a communication.
Exactly. That same. I think I read something to the effect that back in 77, I believe, that's when this signal screamed.
Yes. That was the one they went, ooh, wait, what was that?
Something, it was like 30 times stronger than everything else around, and it raised the eyebrow, and then it disappeared.
completely
until
disappeared.
this
Until this.
Interesting.
came back. So
I thought that was interesting because that whole conversation kind of died out. They had put it to this or put it to this or, oh, it was just this freak of nature. And then all of a sudden, the same thing pops back out of this 3I Atlas.
Yeah. I'm just further, kind of reading about what this scientist said. He said, eventually we have enough data to rule out all but one interpretation of the anomalies. Before he had listed 10 anomalies that this object was displaying. He said, they motivated me to propose a possibility because they've pretty much said we have enough data to rule out all but one interpretation of the anomalies.
That what you said right there, that kind of bugs me. They motivated me. Okay, they paid me to say this.
I don't know.
They motivated. How did they motivate you? Did they put a gun to your head, or did they pay you?
I think as scientists are naturally inquisitive. I want to find out and know. But that's the nature of being a scientist.
Right.
You're always
questioning,
learning. Let me study this. Let me look at this. So that's what he's saying. He goes, he listed 10 anomalies.
Right.
They've so far have explained away 9 of them. So that leaves 1.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. It says it motivated him to the possibility that 3I Atlas is an extraterrestrial technological product of another civilization in the Milky Way galaxy. Most stars are billions of years older than the sun, and it takes less than 1 billion years for our own Voyager spacecraft to cross the entire Milky Way galaxy. Or I should say Milky Way disk.
Right.
Because my hope is that the data collected in the coming weeks, especially around December 19, 2025, when it gets the closest to Earth, will reveal the true nature of this interstellar object. Let's hope that 3I Atlas will not deliver us unwanted gifts for the holidays. And my question is, if they did find out that this thing is artificial, would they even publish it? Would they hide it? Would the CIA? Would the NSA? Because we all have heard stories of how these things, anything that kind of shakes the established understanding of reality, how would that be viewed?
Well, we did a show on that. What would happen if aliens were to land on the White House lawn? It's just.
I think that over the course of history, I think that they've been more okay with it. I guess it depends on what it is. If it's nothing, we'll probably hear about it. If it's something, I think that people will start to speculate and make, their own hypothesis out of it. But
it's funny that you said something about Voyager because at the same time all of this is happening, Voyager has picked up and started doing stuff again. Remember, it was already supposed to be dead. Okay, and now all of a sudden it's starting to use thrusters that haven't been active in a long time. It's starting to send. They were able to reactivate some of the roll control thrusters on it. Well, it's supposed to have been out of fuel a long time ago.
All right.
So how are you reactivating something that's done? And some signals that are coming back that are different than what they originally were.
Yeah.
So has something got a hold of this thing?
Or someone.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
They're saying the object, which it set a record, but I didn't realize this. It set a record as the fastest space rock entering the solar system ever detected, at more than 130,000 miles per hour, and it's now up to 152,000 miles per hour.
Wow. That is so. I mean, obviously, I know in space.
We can imagine.
No.
I think its speed. I think it's going where it would circle the Earth in 11 minutes, and it would be the distance between the Earth and the Moon. That would be a 2-hour trip.
Wow,
that's how fast.
You have to think about this. It's getting faster, and when you're driving through town, and you come up to an area of town that you know is unsafe or you don't like, what do?
Stop.
You speed up. So maybe it's going, oh shit, that's the Earth. Hey, hit the
get outta
gas.
here.
Just hit the gas.
That sector of the solar system is bad right now.
That's bad news.
We'll let them figure it out,
Yeah.
and we'll come back later.
Yeah.
So but yeah, they're saying the sun's gravity is mainly responsible for the speed boost, but they're still having a hard time figuring out what has caused it to noticeably shift away from the home star. So you would think,
but it's not the home star because it's not attached to the sun.
So
they keep throwing these mixed signals out there. It's our home star, but it's not the home star for this.
But I think
object.
they're saying they're attributing the speed. They're saying if it gets closer to the sun, then that would, we understand why it's going faster.
Right.
The question is, why is it going even faster and moving away from the sun? That's, I think, is what is the anomaly is kind of, they're trying to figure that out. He says, if it were an ordinary comet, the heat of the sun would be causing the icy cold space rock to melt and shoot out gas trapped inside. However, Avi Loeb has revealed that a still waiting evidence has released anywhere close enough gas to prove the object is really a comet. So
that's crazy.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is one of these things that, I don't know. You read about this stuff, and it's sort of like, of course, a lot of this none of us are astrophysicists, and all we have to do is just read these articles and kind of what I call the smart people, kind of figure this stuff out. They said NASA would basically, they would suddenly have the comet or whatever it is would have to lose at least 13% of its total mass as it approached the sun. So that's the only way enough of the comet would have been transformed into gas that blasted the object away like a thruster on a spaceship.
That's so strange. Because, I don't know.
So in December, this is going to be key.
Okay.
In December, when it comes out from the other side of the sun, when it's going to be visible, the ground-based telescopes and stuff like that, when we get if it doesn't have a plume, something's up. Because it should have a plume at that point. If it doesn't, I think all bets are off, and this is something different.
Interesting.
Yeah, I really do.
Imagine it's just like a frosted over ship. They just put themselves in some sort of cryostasis kind of thing, and they're just flying through. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, it said, and it's what I'm saying. It says if 3i Atlas is not enshrouded in a much more massive gas cloud after the perihelion than it had in the months preceding perihelion, then its recent non-gravitational acceleration, which means it is accelerating without additional push of gravity.
Yep, assistance.
So just to kind of let people know, then must have resulted from a different cause than cometary evaporation. So there's something else. Then they're going to have to look at, if all the traditional models that we have of what makes these things move, what are we missing? What are we missing?
Hear me out. What if it just disappears? What if it goes behind the sun and nothing comes out? What would happen then?
They say it weighs about 33 billion tons.
Wow. I can't even fathom some of these numbers sometimes. You start talking about like
when you're dealing with those kind of numbers, I mean, it's you're dealing with it's just kind of crazy. I mean,
that's crazy.
Yeah, he says it's, once again, Loeb said it's incredibly massive, weighing approximately 33 billion, which doesn't make sense because there isn't enough rocky material in interstellar space to have created such a structure naturally. Because, I mean, we know most of stuff like coming out of the Oort cloud, all that is kind of a result of what was left over when planets were formed and
Yeah, but
stars.
see, I don't know that because you know what? A sun can explode and destroy a planet near it and just knock a piece off of it. So I don't know if I believe that one. I saw that report too, and I don't know. We don't know what happens out there. Our reach isn't that far. What happens if it's just a piece of something that got knocked off of another planet that was split in half? Things can happen.
Yeah, well, they say unlike comets that formed in our own solar system, which are mainly composed of ice and water, scans have shown that 3I Atlas is an odd mixture of nickel and carbon dioxide.
Interesting.
Louis, he talk about throw a little fire starter in the fire here. He says it could be a nuclear powered mothership, which would explain how it could get unusually bright if it were generating its own light. So that's what I'm saying. For this guy to even just kind of casually
it may be
throw out there that this might be a mothership, obviously he knows more than I do. So I'm going to take his word for it that I'm open to the possibility that it could be something different.
I think we need to be very open about the possibilities of it because we don't know. We're so small compared to this universe. What's out there?
I wonder if it is artificially made. Why would you? I don't know.
Well, if it's artificially made, why doesn't it look like the Death Star?
Why doesn't it look like a? I was going to say like a torpedo, but it kind of does. But
it does look like a torpedo.
But why would you I don't know. Who knows? That's curious.
I don't know.
What if the best structure you can build for space travel is just a random rock? Who knows?
It may be. It may be simple. It could be nothing more than just
it's a stealth fighter.
Maybe as I said, maybe it has some material on it that causes it to react differently that we have not encountered. And we just happen to be living at a time when this object is now making its way through our neighborhood.
Yeah.
He's like the cosmic visitor. Like, hey guys, and then
just passing by.
And I'm out and I'm heading out the door. So but yeah.
Yeah, that's the speculation. Just like I had joked around about, where I was like, "That's what they want you to think." That's all. That's when you start getting into conspiracy theory territory. It's like maybe it's all a secretive thing, not here on Earth, but out in the solar system. It is like a stealth. What if it is a stealth ship? What if it's meant to look like a big rock, but it's actually
it's
their form of stealth?
Who knows? It's an oddly flat
camouflage.
Shape. Yeah, they say it's flat like a pancake.
Oh, okay.
So. Yeah,
interesting.
It's more flat like a beaver tail.
It's
still pancake is round. This thing is kind of oblong. And,
however many hundreds of billions big pancake beaver tail. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, he says however scientists have found a complete opposite in 3I with the object showing little to no iron at all in its chemical makeup.
And that's usually
which Loeb said was another sign of it being artificially constructed.
So most comets or asteroids, whatever, is mostly made of iron. Okay.
Yeah, rock. They have a rock or iron or
but that's one's from iron.
That's what I'm saying.
What if it's from somewhere else even further away?
Well, you would have to make. I mean, the assumption is the rules kind of governing it's. You project that out to everywhere else that the rules operate the same. The only difference I would think would be maybe in the gravitational pull of a black hole, where then things kind of get unraveled and maybe things could, operate differently. But, you have to assume the universe is ordered. It's rational. It can be understood by the physical laws that it all operates under. And
I think that's a hard assumption. I don't think we need to. I think we need to expect the unexpected because we don't know. We've never experienced what a black hole can truly do. We think we know, but do we really?
I wonder I wonder how long this thing's been flying through space to get to us. You know what I mean?
Well,
That's the part that gets me is like,
Because
how
we
long
don't know
has
where it came
that's what
from,
I'm
so we
saying.
have no idea. It could
how
been,
long has this thing been cruising along for, who knows how long to finally get here? Or is this like a recent, I say recent, quote unquote.
I mean, I don't. I think that if this guy is pretty open to an extraterrestrial object,
Mhm.
I'm very. I believe that there are other things out there, so I'm that doesn't shake me in the slightest.
No.
I'll be honest with you. I'm just waiting for that moment when we make contact, or we're going to
Right.
find some evidence of something out there to.
Yeah.
Well, speculative scientists really do ask provocative questions
Yes.
all the time. That's what they do. What if it's artificial? That kind of stuff, because that gets picked up in headlines,
Of course.
which helps get, create the impression of communication and stuff like that, but it also gets their name out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they get funding. That's how they get notoriety for their school or wherever they're doing this from. And so that brings money in. So asking those questions can serve a number of purposes
Of
too.
course.
Even if you don't actually believe it, just by throwing it out there,
Yeah.
you can generate some buzz about it.
Everyone's got their motives.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Well, it would be very interesting if all of a sudden a news report that
Mm-hmm.
we definitely have something here that's not normal,
Right.
Mhm.
and what that means, who knows? I mean,
Maybe we'll know December the 19th.
Well, and also the thing that's kind of interesting too is the first one of these like three eye or this eye situation came about. You said 2017 was the 1st one,
Then 19.
then 19, and now we're in 2025. Like, why all of a sudden in these the past decade are we getting a bunch of stuff from Interstellar? Like, why is it?
Maybe
Well,
this is the
do-
first
I was
time
gonna say-
we've been able to see it.
Oh, maybe.
I think with the advent of now, you had Hubble,
Mhm.
and then you now got James Webb.
Yeah.
Which is 1,000 times better than Hubble.
Hubble. So
Yeah.
I think now you're seeing stuff that probably was always there.
Right.
We just couldn't perceive it.
Interesting.
Couldn't see it.
That's
So-
interesting to think about because for me, I was thinking like, does this mean there's going to be more stuff
Could be.
coming in? And then what does that mean? If there's
Could
just, is this just like the harbinger of like a crazy?
Well, somebody said
Inter-
this was a scout ship.
Who knows?
Maybe this is just the scout ship.
Yeah. These are just the first few pieces of like the rest of whatever's coming.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah,
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of reading a little bit more on that movement of Three Eye Atlas. They clearly pulled away from the sun and also turned to its side, which Loeb suggested was a sign of a rocket engine adjusting the craft's course.
Interesting.
For a normal comet to complete this shocking maneuver naturally, Three Eye Atlas would have to lose more than 13% of its mass, creating giant jets of gas pouring from the rock. So that's what I'm telling. That's what's really throwing this thing off. It's making these moves,
Yeah.
and there's no gas being expelled from the comet.
But see, I was just fixing to say that. We don't know. If it's mostly water and CO2, maybe it just farted.
Who knows?
It could have farted.
Maybe it just farted
But
and
what if
tossed
we-
it to the side.
What if we're not able to? What if there's like a gas in there that we don't understand? We can't see.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it does. It somehow is making a. I don't know.
Yeah. It's making these things. It's not doing what every comet does.
Right. Of course.
It's not following our models that we
Right.
We've
So that's
had
what I'm
before.
saying. It could be something else there to it. So, yeah, I mean, it's they say the physicist and head of the Galileo Project scientific research group looking for signs of extraterrestrial life. Yes, believe it or not, there is a group out there that's constantly
course.
looking for that. Has argued that Three Eye Atlas has shown at least 10 signs it's an artificially constructed vessel that's now heading towards Earth.
Interesting.
However,
heading towards Earth.
heading
And
towards
see, that's
Earth.
Okay.
the term. That's the verbiage they use to generate that.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it said, however, clues have continued to pile up that suggest this object from outside the solar system is not a natural phenomenon. It said this includes displaying a strange anti-tail, which pointed towards the sun as it made its closest approach to the star last month. A normal comet's tail points away from the sun, which that makes sense, right?
Energy pushing it away.
Right, exactly.
But because this is an unknown composition, maybe the gravity affected it different and started pulling it in.
Who knows?
They say normal comets turn red as their cold surfaces absorb blue light and bounce back mostly red light. Just like a cold piece of metal glows red when you start heating it up.
Right.
So while one strange oddity being seen in a comet could be explained by science, Loeb now noted that the odds of 3i Atlas displaying 10 strange anomalies at the same time are astronomical and point to the object being created by a distant intelligence.
What if it's just like space scrap that like an alien civilization just...
And maybe they didn't survive their their great filter.
Why, that's
Great
why.
filter.
Maybe that's why it's flat. It's just like a panel to something made of nickel and it's flying through.
It could be something as similar.
Yeah.
You know,
It's just debris, but it's like, oh no.
Maybe if there is a distant civilization out there that evolved, lived, and got eventually destroyed, or whatever. Maybe their star.
Maybe it's not the Death Star, but maybe it's the explosion of the Death Star.
Death Star.
Maybe it's a piece of it.
It's Death Star debris.
Maybe it was really big.
That's the air conditioner.
I was going to say that was the lid on the toilet seat. Maybe it's really big. Maybe we're just getting the crapper lid. You know,
and it's flying at 130,000 miles an hour.
That thing was
that was a hell of a fart.
That thing was one time on a spec sheet somewhere.
Yeah.
So I mean,
where did you put the lid?
Yeah,
I don't know. I can't find it.
Yeah, I mean it's
hurtling towards the Milky Way.
Yeah, I don't. It's always interesting, about looking up at the sky and seeing our ancestors did that a lot more than we do today. We have so much light pollution now that we really don't have those kind of views that our ancestors at one time had. But
the lesson for the day is don't fart near an ignition source.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Unless you want to launch something out of the stratosphere.
This is guys, we got to pay attention to this stuff. I think
I'm actually curious to follow up after Christmas potentially to see what happens or what
I have to do a little follow-up episode.
I don't have a telescope.
Me either, but
I have a pair of binoculars, but they're not very super high powered.
You got to have something stationary.
You got to have one of those. I always thought about buying a pair of one of those astro binoculars where you can really see, up there in the sky. I did one time see the space station.
Oh, that's cool.
I did see that going one time. Matter of
I had a
fact,
friend-
the last time I went to the Highland Road Observatory, they pointed it out. Said, "Yep, there it is." Because I think it's about 100 miles.
Oh yeah,
up.
Yeah.
So it's just moving.
I had a friend of mine who was able to take a picture of it passing over the moon. It was like a full moon, and he was doing like photography or whatever, and he was able to take a bunch of pictures, and he has like 2 or 3 of it like in transit in front of the moon. It's pretty cool.
Because that doesn't happen often, just because the angles and...
Well, I think he was in a specific location. He had to know where it was coming.
That's what I'm saying.
It was impressive.
You had to make that happen.
Yeah. He had to plan it for a while, and it was actually really cool. The photos he got were really awesome. So.
And then luckily it wasn't raining.
Yeah, you're right. Well, yeah, correct. Same thing with like, the eclipses. Right place, right time, right weather conditions, and you can see some magical stuff.
Yeah. I said NASA plans to send a manned moon mission by February of 20.
I heard that.
Well, you would think it's been how many years supposedly since we landed on the moon, but I
Well, I think also some of that's, but I think a lot of technology, I think, has increased throughout the past few decades. That I think is to be able to like have a ship go out into space and potentially come back safely. Is pretty interesting. Not to say we didn't do that before, but like there's a lot of funding that was done back in the '60s for that kind of stuff.
That was a little bit more of
a race.
a national effort, and not only was that, I think it went back to, I mean, it kind of sort of like in World War II and how people kind of. It was a singular effort.
Oh, cool. Yeah, exactly.
If I recall back during that time when Kennedy, first got elected, maybe toward the end of the Eisenhower administration, I mean, there was a push by the country to push, engineering, math, sciences in the schools to keep, because they saw what the Russians were doing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they also had to kind of change the perspective of what was happening at NASA was changing because they were all the Nazi scientists.
Oh, yeah.
This was Erich von Braun who invented the V2 rocket that was killing people in the war. They were trying to direct the attention to say, okay, look at what we're benefiting from bringing these people over here.
Right.
And that was, I mean, you can kind of understand that, but he came out and he started a national push to be the first ones to the moon.
I think it's also like in recent history now with like the stuff that SpaceX is doing. I don't agree with everything that's going on there, but like there's a lot of the fact that you can launch a rocket out into space and then they were able to like drop it back into orbit and then like pilot it back onto its like stand. Mm-hmm. I can't even imagine what kind of science and mathematics and all the BS that makes that happen, but like that's phenomenal to watch that video and to watch a rocket fall from space and then like ignite and then with the movement of all of its rockets position itself back where it came from. I was like, that's incredible.
I think as we move forward with the space race and kind of pushing that tech, I think it's going to be in the hands of the private sector. I don't think.
Well, the private sector is going to be looking at this as it's
a commercial endeavor.
Well, it's a commercial endeavor because there are so many satellites that are derelict up there.
Yeah.
Maybe we could research that, but they're looking at it because you don't use copper wire.
Right.
You use gold and silver. You use platinum. All of these satellites are made out of precious metals, and they're just sitting up there. Well, what if you bring them back? How many millions of dollars are you going to be able to recoup from every satellite you bring back? And you have to think about that.
Says decommissioned satellites in space are estimated in a range from 3,000 to 3,500.
Okay, think about that.
That's a lot of debris floating around.
Space junk,
can you since you type out what would the estimated recuperation dollar amount be for a satellite?
Okay,
and just see. I mean, if it costs you $5 to $15 million to go up and get 3 satellites and bring them back, what can you make off of that? That I think that's where they want to go with this because there's so many satellites up there that are just debris. It's kind of crazy if you think about it.
Right now, I'm reading here talking about Elon Musk and SpaceX. Said Mexico has threatened to sue Elon Musk over SpaceX debris.
Interesting. Okay.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum
she needs to shut up.
Has threatened to sue Elon Musk SpaceX over falling debris from rocket launch across the border in the United States. SpaceX says its efforts to recover debris from Mexico have been hindered by trespassers.
I'm not getting any hard numbers right now because it's basically saying that like the amount of money it would take to get something into space to get the satellite back down would cost more than it would to probably recycle the satellite. That's why it's abandoned in space. Mm-hmm. That's the hard part. There's no solid numbers that I'm seeing. Which is kind of, but again, maybe in the future that's one of those things.
No, that's what I'm saying.
If we can get something down there and safely back here with 4
or 5 satellites,
recycle it. Who knows?
Yeah, right now I didn't realize there, but there's some obvious intention there between Mexico and the United States regarding debris. Because all this stuff is coming from Starbase in Texas, so it's right there.
Okay.
It's right there on the Mexican border, my understanding. So,
That's
I can
interesting.
understand how stuff could be crashing down in northern Mexico, probably. And
I guess would they not be allowed to come collect it? Is that kind of the problem?
well, I think
Are
they're
they?
trying to collect it, but I think trespassers and.
I see.
It's sort of like when Columbia exploded. And remember, it had debris over Texas and Louisiana, and it was a big deal about if you find a piece, you better not hold on to it. You'd face prosecution and all this other stuff. So, yeah, it's kind of a big deal to pick some of this stuff up. Can you imagine if you're in a house and all of a sudden something crashes into your roof? Some piece of space debris. I've often wondered what would happen with that. I don't think your insurance even covers that.
Would that be considered an act of God?
It might be an act of God. I mean,
I don't know at that point.
Just the idea of just the odds. Of a piece of an object.
I better get
crashing down on your particular house.
Yes, the government better be paying me something for that.
Yeah, well, I think they probably would.
Yeah, because at that point, that's just bad luck.
Yeah, I think if SpaceX did that, I think Elon can afford it since they just
100%.
They just his share the board has basically made him a trillionaire.
That's crazy.
The first trillionaire in the United States
Is that official? Really?
Yeah, supposedly they voted on it. Now, whether how I don't know how the steps it takes, but whatever his I mean the shareholders voted. 75, I think it was like 75% of them voted this package. It's $1 trillion package.
Wow. That's insane.
I mean, it's just, and the thing about that guy, I mean, that guy like sleeps on a couch in his office. I mean, he is not motivated by that kind of stuff. I mean, I know some people hate this guy. I mean, before they loved this guy, and then all of a sudden they hated him because,
of course, political
reason because he aligned with Trump and gave Trump a bunch of money, and supposedly that's what helped him win the election. And i.e., go out there and pay voters. I hate to say it when all this stuff. Oh, we need money. They got money on the ground. What is that code for? Mm-hmm. They're paying people to go vote.
Oh yeah,
that's all that is. So yeah, it's. Yeah, so Musk is. I think Musk talked about this stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember
because
what
obviously
he said about his 3i. Would he mention? I mean, you may want to look that up. Elon Musk and 3i Atlas.
His end goal is to have us colonize Mars. Like that's his whole thing. So if you look at all his companies, at all yes, they're all for here on Earth, but like to be honest.
No, that is his goal.
He has an electric car company because again, we're probably not going to have gas on Mars. So we're going to need electrical vehicles to. It's like he has a SpaceX to ferry people to. Anyways, like it's all that kind of
station. That's where you're going to go back and forth to.
We have what's it called? Starlink, where we have interconnectivity through satellites in space. It's like some sort of thing. We're probably going to have that on Mars. So it's like that's all his end goal. Which if he's got $1 trillion
and
now,
all of the transhumanism stuff that he's doing, maybe we can make people live a little easier over there with direct implants and things like that in their bodies. So.
I think he also has a digging company, right? The boring company.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, it says during his appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience, Musk addressed the theories swirling around 3i Atlas. He said before diving into details, he stressed one personal point. One thing I can say is, if I was aware of any evidence of aliens, Joe, you would have my word that I will come on your show and reveal it. I keep my promises. He added, I'm never committing suicide, to be clear, ever.
No, dude.
Wow, that sounds familiar.
That's
There's a host on a podcast that says that all the time too. I think what is it, Stoney on the Retrospect podcast? He said that probably 50 times, huh?
It says the SpaceX CEO then discussed the comet's chemical makeup, noting that nickel vapor had been found in its gas cloud. Musk explained that some of Earth's richest nickel and cobalt deposits trace back to ancient asteroid and comet impacts.
Crazy. That's insane, dude.
Yeah. He says Musk said the presence of nickel doesn't confirm anything alien, but does suggest that a comet would be catastrophic if it collided with Earth.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a very heavy spaceship if you made it out of all nickel. He said
so it's heavier than like a regular.
Yeah, he said that's a heavy space.
Wow.
It would be like it would obliterate a continent type of thing.
Oh,
maybe worse.
My gosh, that's crazy to think
Yeah.
about.
So you're talking about, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe not the extent of Chicxulub, but I mean,
Well,
say
wiping a continent off
if it struck in the same area where Chicxulub struck, say somewhere in the Yucatan Peninsula,
Yeah.
most of North America is probably toast.
Wow.
Just the kinetic energy. But I mean, imagine trying 150,000 miles.
But I can also imagine that it probably wouldn't. It probably would affect the other side of the globe too in some way.
Oh, it would. I mean, definitely.
Right,
but I'm talking about that initial.
Oh, I know you're right.
That initial destructive
You also
energy
got to think
coming
about
off.
it's a torpedo.
Mm-hmm. Oh no.
And some of these weapons that they're using today are just a iron spike
Oh yeah.
going through the ground. So if it hits it just right, it could go to the core and destroy the planet. If you think about it,
That's crazy.
you know, the Navy's using those spikes,
Mm-hmm.
the hypersonic spikes. It's just a piece of metal that's
Like a
magnetically
rail cannon
the
or
rail
whatever? Yeah.
cannon. That's what that is. It's made out of metals like that and just fired at such a speed that it's just insane.
That's wild.
Yeah, I've been wanting to listen to that episode of Joe Rogan Experience regarding his interview with Musk, because they talked about a whole lot of things.
Oh, they talked about a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they just kind of go on there. So yeah, it would be interesting. But yeah,
Well, wouldn't it be great if we could get him on our show?
well, yeah,
I think it would cost a lot of money to get him on the show.
I don't know. I mean,
Maybe.
Elon Musk, if you're listening and you'd like to join us on the
we
Retrospect
would love
podcast,
to have you. I would
Yes.
love to just sit down and have a conversation with
Yeah.
just to listen to him,
Crazy.
because I think he's basically the the Nikola Tesla
Mhm.
of our
Our time.
I would put him Nikola Tesla versus Albert Einstein, because Nikola Tesla was very centric, and he's
Yes.
kind of viewed as, I think Musk fits that more than Albert Einstein.
Yeah.
At least now. I mean, I think people kind of view him, at least some people do, view him in somewhat of a negative light.
Of course.
And
I'm
which
curious-
is a shame, because I think he's actually one of the greatest things we have on our in our country right now, and unfortunately, our politics have basically made it out to be almost impossible to like the guy.
Right.
So, but
Well,
that
I'm
bothered me.
curious to hear what everyone else has to say about this episode, about what your speculations are, about what your theories are. If you want us to come back around at the end of the year to talk about if there's actually any kind of juicy details we learn about it, I'd be interested to talk about it as well, to figure out, is this really something special, or is it just another big rock in space? We have the email address, getoffendedtogether@gmail.com, where you can send more long-form responses. And we also have the comment sections on Spotify and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe and like where you can. It really shows your appreciation for the show and helps get us out there a little bit. And until next week, thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone, and God bless.
You know, sometimes God sends us messages to remind us how small we are and how connected we've always been. Think about it. An interstellar comet, 3I Atlas, is passing through our neighborhood, a giant snowball from another star, just waving hello before it's gone forever. At the same time, a 48-year-old spacecraft, Voyager 1, still whispers to us from beyond the edge of the sun's reach. We spend so much time worrying about control, politics, money, schedules. Yet both of these comic messengers remind us that we are actually the ones just passing through. One made by man, one made by the heavens. Both still delivering messages across impossible distances. Maybe faith isn't about understanding the universe, It's about trusting that the Creator didn't waste any of it. So tonight, whether you're a boomer who remembers the first launch or a Gen X kid watching on TikTok, take comfort. We're part of something vast, intentional, and still beautifully mysterious. If the Voyager can still phone home after 1,000,000 miles, maybe so can we. Thanks for hanging out with us today. You're the best. Peace.